We just wrapped up the day riding the 2025 Kawasaki KLX230R and KLX230RS, the short version. Behind me is the new KLX230R, heavily updated for model year 2025. Kawasaki has done a lot to update this bike, not only to give it a little bit more performance, but to also make it just a little bit more approachable and accessible to new and beginning riders. Updates to the engine. There's now a counterbalancer, smoothing out the vibration. Airbox has been redesigned. Subframe has been redesigned. All new styling, making it a little bit more aggressive, kind of matching the KX250 and KX450 motocross bikes, giving it just that aggressive look. You got some real nice Dunlop tires on here. Sports D952. See a big chunky knobby hooking up, nice. The levers have actually been shortened too on both sides to give it a little bit of a more modern look, but also prevent it from hanging out a little too far if you have a tip over and bend or break your lever. The fuel tank is now larger too, right around 2 gallons, I believe. Suspension has also been updated, I believe valving and springs. The seat height is now shorter as well. 230R, the 230RS that we'll ride later have both have reduced seat heights for 2025. Now all the bikes have a key ignition and a gas cap that you got to use the key for. It used to be only the California models, but now all 50 states have it, which I like actually. Like if you went camping, you know, overnight, you can just pull the key, bring it in your tent, not have to worry about your annoying friends stealing your bike or something. Both bikes, $4,999. Really good price point. We're gonna go throw the helmet on and see what this thing's like to ride. All right, we're getting our first time on the 2025 Kawasaki KLX230R. I've always loved the bike. It was a little bit vibraty, kind of old school feeling. This counterbalancer, it's a lot smoother. I noticed that instantly. For some reason, it almost feels like it revs a little quicker too. Still a 2-valve head, but just a little bit more lively and free revving. There's also been updates to the suspension and the subframe. The suspension, they actually revised the valving and the spring rates. It's feeling really agile. It turns into the corner really easily. It's got a short wheelbase, lower center of gravity, transfers onto the side of the tire really nicely. Just kind of look where you want to go, and it's just an easy bike to turn and steer. Makes it super confidence inspiring, and just like a nice little torquey engine. It puts the power down really well. This is a recreation bike, you know, it's not, but even there, you know, this fork did not bottom. It's really comfortable, absorbs it nicely, but has enough hold up for jumping and stuff like that. But yeah, the whole thing here is this bike is like a play recreation bike. It needs to be, you know, approachable and accessible for the new and beginning riders. But then Kawasaki emphasized that they still wanted to have some performance to entertain the experienced riders, and that's what I like about the soft suspension. It makes the bike really playful. You know, you can kind of bounce around the trail, but then it also helps keep and maintain traction. Another thing too is I'm about 5'7", 125 pounds. The suspension doesn't feel overly soft for me. It's just right for this kind of play riding. And then also the rider triangle. For me, I'm standing up right now. I feel like I'm in a really good aggressive standing riding position. Some of these downhills, the brakes are really nice and touchy. Lock up the rear, skid into a corner, load the front. There's almost like a mountain bike style trail, and this thing is just so fun to ride on this stuff. It doesn't feel too big for the trail or too powerful. They actually reduced the wheelbase on both the R that I'm on and the RS, which are the gray bikes we have today. Just helps make the thing turn, look like a tight corner like that. Just come in, make the corner. Both bikes, the R and the RS, is available in both colors. This lime green, and they call it battle gray. This is not just a beginner's bike. This is just a fun play bike for an experienced rider, kind of a toy maybe. Or if you haven't been riding a long time and you want to just get back into the sport, this is a really good option. It's just fun. All right, now I am on the 230RS, the gray bike here, shorter version. Shorter seat height, a little bit less suspension travel, but same chassis, same engine, same suspension components. Definitely a similar riding experience. Maybe the suspension almost feels like just slightly stiffer, but by no means is it harsh or anything. It's just a little subtlety there. A little bit less lower center of gravity. I believe the wheelbase is actually slightly shorter on this one. A little bit more agile, but just barely. They both are very similar. Say braking components, man, these brakes are good. Like the rider triangle, like standing up, it doesn't really feel too different for me. Maybe you feel a little bit more over the front, especially on a downhill with a little less travel, maybe deeper in the stroke. I think either way you can't really go wrong. It does seem like it kind of can just, you can steer the front with a lot of handlebar input a little bit easier than on the other bike. It's really splitting hairs between these two. Let's see. Surprisingly, the suspension did not bottom there. That's nice. Good direct throttle response. Blowing up a berm, kicking up some dust. It's got a 6-speed transmission. Yeah, I think for me, I like the suspension action for just a little bit of a faster pace on the R a little bit better. These are kind of those areas where the R was kicking me in the butt on some downhills with some bumps like that. Right there, some of this chop. Yeah, a little bit harsher feeling in my hands. You're gonna kind of charge bumps than on the RS than on the R. The saying for this bike is get out and play, and that's exactly how it feels. All right, I got 3 pros ahead of me right here. I got Axel, Sean, and Leonardi, I think that's how it's pronounced. A couple Monster Energy athletes. They're having fun on these things too. Big updates to this platform for 2025. They really pumped some R&D into this bike and just made it even better. One of the updates I noticed and appreciated the most was the updates to the engine. They have that primary balancer that reduced the vibration, something that I kind of knocked the bike for in the past, being just a little bit buzzy and vibrating. It's an air-cooled single. Obviously, there's gonna be some vibrations and buzzing, but a lot less for 2025. We did some internal updates, some ECU tuning to increase the low to mid-range torque, and that's something I noticed very quickly while riding the bike. It always had good mid-range in the past, but the bottom end, it's just, you had to get the thing past kind of, 2,000-3,000 RPM or so, really get into that mid-range and keep it happy. Now this thing, like right off idle, just has a super good, just punchy feeling and tractable. And yeah, whether you're popping a wheelie over an obstacle or sliding a corner or blowing up a berm, it just has a really nice direct feel and throttle response. Suspension updates, the bike is still super plush, which I really appreciate out of a play bike. It absorbs the bumps in the road and the trail really nicely, especially at moderate paces. But then it has hold up if you're kind of charging through stuff or you're jumping it. Yeah, I bottomed it out a couple times, kind of jumped into flat, but kind of got to expect that. They shortened the wheelbase, made the steering geometry a little bit sharper, and it's just such an agile motorcycle. Changes direction super easily, and that's kind of the theme here. Accessible, approachable, beginner-friendly motorcycle, but it still has plenty of performance to entertain the experienced or even pro riders. You can pass it over to your friends or family members that are less experienced. It's going to be a very confidence-inspiring motorcycle. It's not going to scare them, and just a great segue into off-road riding. I like the R a little bit better, just the additional suspension travel for jumping and that kind of stuff. Don't overlook this bike. You're not too good to be riding a KLX230R. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. Let me know if you have any questions about the bike, which one you would get, the R or the RS. Drop a comment below, we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one.